Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you guys how to replace your front brake pads on this Infiniti q50s, and this is the 3.7 liter. So if you guys have this type of caliper on your Nissan or Infiniti q50, let's get started. Alright, so first thing you want to do is get your car up on jacks. Now this is a hydraulic lift with a safety jack 2-in-1 built in, so I'm good there. You're gonna need yourself a 22mm to take the lug nuts off. Now these are nice because these are non-marring, and these are really nice wheels. So if you got nice wheels like this and you don't want to mess it up, make sure you get these specific non-marring sockets. So to take these pins out, to do that there are two little cotter pins. Now if you guys notice, these cotter pins are all jacked up in here. You can't really access it. So grab yourself a needle nose or some sort, and you need to basically grab hold of this pin and twist it until this pin can be pulled out. Okay, so just like that. I'm not sure if the new pads came with these pins. They should provide these pins, but we'll keep these just in case, so don't destroy it. And then once that's loose, you can take a screwdriver and let's see if we can pull it off from the back here. Like, there we go, like that. And these pins should just come right out. And if yours is rusted on here, you can just grab with a plier and hit it with a hammer on the plier, not the brakes. Okay. Okay. So what I was going to say is, before you pull the pin out, make a note the orientation of this. I'd say these pads actually looks really good. I don't think he needs to replace it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pads out, inspect it, and then just go from there. So you got two pistons here and two pistons here. Try not to put the screwdriver between the pads because you don't want to damage the actual ceramic pad. Okay, so just give a little push on both sides of the, let me grab a bigger screwdriver. Okay, so you can kind of feel it a little bit loose. Okay, so these pads actually looks good. There's no need to replace this. To give it a quick inspection, he was noticing some squeaking sound. Okay, so these pads are just fine. Okay, and same thing with this pad. This pad looks almost brand new. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna spray some brake cleaner in here. Just clean it up. So again, I'm not going to be replacing the pads, but if I was to do it, and if you guys were doing this yourself, you want to get yourself a piston caliper compressor, and it looks something like this. You guys can, now you can't rent this, but there are some caliper compressors you guys can rent at like O'Reilly or something like that. That might work, but this guy right here works for pretty much every brake application I've ever had. So you basically slide this guy in here like this, then you just squeeze it out. You pull this back and it'll compress the pistons back into the cylinders right here. So right now I'm just gonna clean this out with some brake cleaner. And then if you're putting a new brake pad, you're gonna just basically slide it in. Once the piston is compressed, you're gonna basically slide it in. Just like this. And you wanna make sure you don't put your finger on the brake pads. Keep grease away from the pads as best you can. Shake it, and it'll go in just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and clean up the shims a little bit. Okay, so now putting it back together is just opposite of us taking it apart. So once again, make sure you guys get your shims cleaned up and your bolts, your slider pins here for the shim cleaned up as well. And it's gonna go on just like this. One thing to keep in mind is that little hole where the cotter pin goes. Try and get that facing out towards this way so that when you get done sliding it in, the cotter pin will go in nice and easy. Pull that just a little bit. Okay, here we go. And remember to slide this pin over the center notch like that. There you go. And let me turn this guy so that that little hole is sticking outwards. Okay. And take a screwdriver, get it lined up, and slide it in. Right there. There we go. Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay, and then the cotter pin just goes in just like that. Okay? Perfect. And then we'll do the bottom one. Once again, it goes underneath the middle tension spring right there. And we're going to pull this brake pad out just a little bit like we did the one on the top. And then push this down a little bit so that it lines up with that brake pad hole. And we're going to just slide in just like that. There we go. And grab a cotter pin and slide it in like that. There you go. So, and once you get in here, you'll see how everything kind of fits the way it should. And that's really all there is. That's it. And last thing I like to do is squirt a little air